Since this is a comprehensive guide to Island Reef in Dinkum, expect major spoilers. This video has timestamps and subtitles for easy access. Island Reef is a tropical island filled with unique flora and fauna and some buried treasure. To reach this destination, you need to get the airport deed from Fletch and build your airport. To unlock this deed, you need to be at least in year 2 on your island and have at least 11 NPCs moved into your town. This includes the shopkeepers as well as the NPCs renting houses. Yeah, this will put your town into 2.5 million dinks of debt, but the locations you'll unlock are definitely worth it. The airport is only open every Saturday, and there are 2 destinations depending on what time you depart. Trips to Island Reef happen on the odd hours, and trips to the Great Bight depart on the even hours. This video will focus on Island Reef only, but if you want a guide for the Great Bight, I will link it in the description. Island Reef can only be accessed once a week and each ticket costs 250,000 dinks, so it's best to come to this area prepared. There are a lot of new items you can bring back to your island from this area, so I highly recommend bringing your swag pack if you have one already. But if you don't, you can simply bring an empty chest using a hand trolley. You can then use the chest to bring back more items. Just don't forget to bring it home with you. You won't be able to recover it if you accidentally left it behind, since a new map gets generated each time you visit. The islands in this area are spread out, so it's highly recommended to bring a vehicle as well. I recommend bringing either a plane or a helicopter so you can easily spot points of interest as you fly across the map. If you don't have these vehicles yet, the jet ski would be the cheapest option that will let you navigate this area efficiently. Like in the mines, you can bring your friends to Island Reef. However, even during your hangout with NPCs, they won't be able to travel to Island Reef to help you explore. The other items you'd want to bring will depend on what you're trying to do, so let's go through all the things you can do in Island Reef. Just like in the mines where you get a different gemstone for each new level, you also get a unique gemstone here at Island Reef, the Aquamarine. Aquamarines are found on the ocean floor and can be a little difficult to spot, but just look for a teal color sticking out of a rock. You can take them home as is and sell them to John for money, but honestly, I don't really recommend going to Island Reef just to collect aquamarine to sell for money. If you want to use gemstones to get money, you can always just go to Undergrove instead. If you do come across aquamarines though, you can take them to a crusher for a chance to get a perfect aquamarine. This is a rare drop, but it can be used to craft earrings or some good weapons like the ice hammer and the star saber. You'll also get aquamarine shards, but the only use I've found for them so far is for crafting blue floor lights. If you do plan on getting aquamarines for crafting, remember to bring a pickaxe or a jackhammer to get the gemstone, then a dive helmet and a boogie board for easier navigation. Then there are 3 new bugs, 4 new fish, and 3 new critters that can only be found in Island Reef. If you want to complete your museum, you'll have to catch them here. Remember to bring your bug net, fishing rod, and your bug or fish or critter book or encyclopedia. Oh, and note that one bug, the purple-winged mantis, only appears at night, so you will need to look for it after dark. There are also some new seeds, flowers, bushes, and corals you can collect from Island Reef to use as decoration back home. You will need an axe or chainsaw and a pickaxe or jackhammer if you want to collect this. Keep an eye out as well for a new decorative item in the water, which is the rotary clothesline. You can collect it by diving down to pick it up. Another thing you should keep an eye out for while exploring are these coolers scattered randomly on the islands in plain sight. This is mostly found on the sandy beaches. Each cooler has 5 to 7 items with 1 paint guaranteed. The other items you can get from this chest are all beach decorations like umbrellas, hammocks, beach chairs, towels, and inflatable kiddie pools. You can also get frisbees in different colors that you can use to play catch with other players. Okay, so one thing I completely ignored the first few times I was in Island Reef are these shark statues. They actually give you a lot of cool and rare items, so I highly recommend looking out for them. 2 shark statues spawn per map, and you can feed each one 5 old keys to get a treasure map. You need to equip it and hold your mouse button to read the treasure map and reveal a red cross on your map. There will be a buried wooden chest at that location. Shark statues can give you up to 20 treasure maps total, and after that, they become a decoration you can also pick up. You can open multiple treasure maps at once, and multiple red marks will appear on your map. However, these chests can be difficult to find and it can be spread across different locations, so you might run out of time to collect everything and waste your precious old keys. Don't worry about it though. Treasure maps can be taken home and used on your next Island Reef trip. So, just open maybe 2 to 3 treasure maps at a time and make sure you can retrieve all the buried chests before opening more. You can also use a metal detector to find where the buried chest is because sometimes it can be hard to pinpoint its exact location around the X mark. There are different colored chests you can dig up. The blue colored chest is exclusive to Island Reef, while the brown and green chests can also be found in the mines. From the blue wooden chest, here are the items you'd want to keep an eye out for. First is the ice cream maker. This processes high-quality milk into ice cream or a watermelon into a watermelon popsicle. These food items give the cool buff, which is very helpful for preventing burns in hot. The silver pocket watch slows down time, making one in-game day go from about 30 minutes to about 60 minutes. This doesn't work in the mines or Island Reef, but it is useful when you want to spend more time decorating or arranging your island in the daylight. The cup of sunshine stops rainy weather immediately. It has limited uses and it can't be repaired though, but it's also one of the crafting ingredients needed to make a black pocket watch. That watch lets you start the next day at 4 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. And this is extremely helpful for days when you're going to the mines or using the airport. So I highly recommend saving your cup of sunshine for this recipe. Then we have the butterfly perfume, which is something you equip as a cosmetic item in your head slot that'll cause a butterfly to fly around your head as a flying companion. Lastly, we have the tropical grass turf roll. This is another rare item that lets you lay down infinite amount of tropical grass. That is very useful for making natural paths without needing to grind for tropical grass seeds. You can also turn this item into an all-seasons fertilizer by putting the turf roll into a composter. When you use this in tilled soil, it will allow the crop planted on it to ignore all seasonal changes. Meaning, you can have coffee or watermelon all year long. Just make sure the area is fenced so animals won't eat the crops and that there's always something planted in that soil because if there's no crop planted, the fertilizer will eventually disappear. With all these cool items together from the shark statues, you might eventually run out of old keys to feed them. If you are using metal detection to collect relics and old keys, I've had more luck finding keys in the rivers than any other area on my map. I recommend using your metal detector under the water with your diving helmet equipped for a higher chance to get keys. You can also buy a key cycler from Jimmy, the merchant who appears on your island during rainy days once you have at least 1 million dinks in your bank. The key cycler costs 700,000 dinks per piece, but it lets you transform your other relics into old keys. Just use the relics you have a lot of but don't really need. If you have the auto placer, you can just put stacks of relics there and let the machine turn them into keys automatically. Be careful though, don't use your hot cylinders on your key cycler. Hot cylinders are very useful for the Great Bite and you'll want to save them for that other destination. You can also get machines called key cutters from a red chest in Hot. The key cutter generates a key every 5 days or so, and you don't have to put anything into these machines for them to produce keys. An additional tip here is that the position of all the shipwrecks, coolers, and shark statues will remain the same if you close your game without saving, then reload and go back to the Island Reef again. So, if it took you a while to find the shark statues on your first try, just remember where you found them, close the game, reload, and you can go straight to that spot. The statue will still be there. There is also a chance you'll come across a shipwreck in Island Reef. When you break it with an axe or chainsaw, an alpha shark will appear. This is a very tough creature to defeat and I highly recommend wearing a diving helmet for the fight. Make sure you also got the appropriate food buffs before breaking the shipwreck to make sure you are well prepared. Bring a good weapon like a battle shovel at the very least or any alpha weapon and pack prime roast or a lamington for your food. You can also bring first aid kits to make sure you don't pass out. Defeating an alpha shark may give you a rare alpha tooth drop. which you can use to craft a trident from Ted Selly. This is a strong ranged weapon that fires 3 water balls, dealing a lot of damage and has a high chance to stun enemies. There's also an ultra rare drop from this alpha animal called the shark egg. You can equip this in your head slot to get a flying shark buddy that follows you around. However, keep in mind that there would only be 1 to 3 shipwrecks that spawn in Island Reef per visit, and they are quite difficult to spot. Honestly, if you want to hunt for alpha sharks, I'd recommend going to the Great Bite instead, where you will encounter a lot more of them. Then, always remember that like in the mines at 11 p.m., the island will shake with a rumbling noise indicating that it's getting late. At midnight, acid rain will start to fall throughout the entire map, and it constantly deals 1 damage per 2 seconds, so make sure you get to the airship before you run out of health or stamina. Drop any tips if you have for other players or anything cool you've found that I might have missed, and check out this next video for more Dinkum tips and tricks.